And we are live, same show, different time, different locations. This is the Doctor's Orders live stream on the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. My name is Dan C. Bearded. I'm the co-host of this show, and I am coming to you live from Orlando, Florida, specifically.
Orlando.
Oh yeah, specifically, you guys can see the volcano behind me over here. It's so hard to point over here, and it is the water park behind us at Universal. So coming to you from Universal today, you guys, and my co-host is in a different but somewhat familiar location for those of you that watch the show often. And the co-host is the co-owner of this beautiful company. He is the man. Man, we got to talking about hackers and how this all works and people losing millions, and this dude knows his stuff there. He is a rock and roll enthusiast, a coffee aficionado, and I don't even want to get into the U.S. national champion beardsman, but I would like to welcome Mr. Nick Phelps, the doctor of time and space himself. Nick, how you doing and where you at tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm home, so that's always good.
That's nice.
And also there answer number two. I'm home. This is the home studio. Less lights, less studio-ish, but it still works for one.
For sure.
I have a camera, I have a microphone, I have the internet, and I'm me. So it makes it all good.
Exactly. And
you're the one with multiple kids in Orlando at Universal. So I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm
surviving.
Doing great. Yeah, we're pretty much pros at traveling with the kids, and we try our absolute best to plan to avoid the family meltdown that everybody sees at Universal and Disney, and try not to overextend ourselves and keep perspective in mind. We've found, and it'll be kind of the stories we'll talk about today, we've found that people get in trouble when they start trying to force things. I paid this much money, we need to hit this, and this.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we see this. And then it just leads to failure and kids crying and couples fighting. Oh, yeah, I'm on vacation. I've got no interest in stress. I don't want to do that, and so we're doing great. Everyone's happy, everyone's healthy, and it's been.
That's key. You guys all got sick the week before you traveled, and I'm I don't know how you sign up for that trip. If you're gonna get sick in the next 60 days. You want it now, or you want to roll the dice for when you're on vacation? I'd be give it to all of us right now.
Dude, and I lost 20 pounds, so I'm looking chiseled and ripped. And I have hunger of a beast, and so it's it weirdly came together because we were sick too. I don't usually let people know, and I try to keep that stuff close to chest, but we were sick, tears, and so it literally makes us appreciate feeling better. It makes us appreciate this weather. It's been absolutely amazing. So yeah, however the dice rolled out, I'm very happy with it.
Dude. Take it, man. That's awesome.
And we have True North checking in saying, listening podcast style while we work, since they can't see exactly right now because they're just kind of listening. There's I think a cool detail that they should hear. You know what I'm talking about, Nick?
Oh, what, this guy? With this sweet shirt that I'm rocking right now, which again, is someone clearly just has really good taste in t-shirts, because they pick next level t-shirts to print their True North stuff on. So I'm loving it, of course, and honestly, hey, until I look down, it feels just like ours. It's black and white. It's awesome, and I'm representing some friends, so why not?
Yeah,
of course.
I love that.
The one time you guys aren't watching, I got your shirt in over the weekend, and here we are. Okay, there we go. I see it. Okay, put your phone back down, get back to work. I'm being a distraction.
Yeah. Now, we started before. We're is that True North? Oh yeah, it looks good. Looks really good. So we love seeing companies support each other and collaborate. And we said it, I believe, on stream before. If not, Nick and I several times in private, where people have reached out to Dr. Nick's and they're like, "Hey, I need super strong, long-lasting cologne, in your face scents." I I don't think you guys have that in your lineup. And you're like, no, we don't. That's not something with our essential oils. But hey, just down the road, True North, give them a look. They do so much more than just that, but they do a really good job of making those cologne scents that people are looking for. And so it's
Oh
really
yeah, dude.
cool.
We recommend them all the time. Like there's a small little group of stuff that we think is good, and it's different than ours. Obviously, it serves a different desire, if you
Yep,
will, right? Similar purpose, maybe. But oh yeah, we recommend them probably more than anybody else.
that's awesome.
And why wouldn't we?
Right. And here's a couple of other comments. G Squared said, just use the rosemary peppermint and beard wash for the first time. It was meant to be. Wow. That's how to start the day.
Dude, that stuff is awesome as a beard wash and conditioner. It's fantastic. I love it.
It's insane. It's made to be like that. Like it
It is.
really is.
As soon as you get in the shower with it and it gets in the steam, you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is okay. Yeah, I've been.
This
doing
makes sense.
All right, fine.
And thank you, Damien. He says, you got two phenomenal beards on one stream. Woo-hee.
I have an unfair advantage. I have not been in the sun at a water park all day, so
Yeah.
it's not a fair, Dan's, to look like that after he just left Universal all day is a feat.
Oh yeah, literally all day too, and that's in the water. So yes. And we got Jolly here who says, what the heck? Dr. Nick and Dan C stream at night. I normally miss this because of work. And we actually love this. We're live every Tuesday. We haven't missed in 82 weeks, which is insane. Like insane. That's crazy. But sometimes life pitches us different situations. And so we adjust. We've had like 7 o'clock streams, 9 o'clock streams. We've done, I think, like a 2 o'clock stream. So we've adjusted. And what I think is really cool is it allows us to keep this show going, but it gets on to other people's schedules that don't normally get to join live. And the people that normally watch live can always catch the replay as well. So it is kind of cool when it works out when we do this, because we get new friends in here. And I love that.
I love it. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, and it's cool because we have a lot of the same people, and then you get like the people who end up having to watch it later, or the people that watch it the next day. All of a sudden, boom, here you are.
Yes, and we do appreciate all of you that comment after the fact. We know that you guys can't watch every stream, or maybe it doesn't fit your schedule, but we get a good solid 10 to 15 people that come back afterwards and leave comments about the show. So shout out to people like Jim and anybody else that comes back, Mark, afterwards. That means a lot and gives us a lot of feedback, because it's not just about the live. These videos live on forever. So thank you to anybody listening in the future. If you guys take a second, please leave a comment. It really does a lot. And one of the ladies of the stream, Miss Channing, says, finally ordered Dr. Nick's hair growth serum and face wash. Comes tomorrow, and I'm so excited.
Oh man, right on. I'm excited too. I'm even more excited if that USPS tracking is accurate and they do their job. Come on, UP. Come on, USPS. You can do it.
Next week, usually we go over like the plan. Next week, the title of the show is going to be more shipping updates and delays. I don't want to get into it today, but some of you will pick up what I'm putting down right now. There was a tragic, horrible disaster this morning, and it is going to absolutely dismantle the East Coast shipping. And we're gonna fully dive in with more information and more like feedback about it. And it's very new and very tragic, so we don't want to go too far. But next week we're going to talk more and more about shipping and really see what this tragic accident does. But the port's closed right now, so it's going to have a major impact. So
talking about just the shipping route for trucks. It's unidentified as to still which and how many semis were on that bridge that went down with it, but they weren't just empty trucks, right? So there's on top of just the people and the things and the infrastructure, right? You think about what's actually gone as of now, right? And then what that's going to impact for just up and down the East Coast, like you said. It's a main artery.
Yep. So next week, guys, we're going to talk about that more. We also have learned more about the mail and the tracking since we talked last week. We're getting a lot of feedback from you guys. And so we just want to I thought it was a very productive, a very positive and proactive stream a couple weeks ago. And so I want to continue and also kind of go over how one disaster, one severe weather event can really have a ripple effect. And in this case, think like supply chain of 2020 issues. We're going to be flirting with that, like for real, flirting with that. So,
I mean, yeah, it's I woke up this morning and saw the news. I was like, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. So we'll get into that next week, guys. William says, Nick, love the body wash. Just got my first supply. We'll be ordering more.
Awesome. Yep.
That's great.
The body wash has saved me this time of year. That is for sure.
Unreal. And Mark says the peppermint rosemary is awesome. And the growth stimulator, man, all caps, it works. Thank you, Dr. Nick.
Oh, man. Right on, Mark. I mean, so that stuff is all about sticking with it. It's just sometimes we get people that haven't watched the videos. They're not regular people here on the stream.
Yep.
And they say, man, I'm like 2 weeks in, nothing yet. Like, when's this stuff work? And I'm like, well, okay, 3 to 6 months. And we kind of go through the whole thing with them. And, it's just, you stick with it. And I mean, that stuff has been used for the thousands of years that it's been used for a reason, man. I mean, it does work.
Right. And there's real information, real evidence. It's not guaranteed, but it sure as hell will give you a good chance. And it beats things like minoxidil.
It'll definitely increase your chances, and it's interestingly enough, we've been having a lot more questions about it recently. I've been getting a lot more emails from people, a lot more questions, just wondering about the growth stimulator as a whole. So I'm almost wondering, it is a little bit of maybe a trend right now. Maybe people tried from November through January, February to get a beard going and feel like they need a little boost, so it could be kind of like an interesting time of year where it's like people maybe look at that at the beginning of beard growth season. And then once it's like, they're thinking about keeping it maybe this year, right? Maybe that's when that thought kicks up. So it's been active.
No, I like that. And what I'll put out to you guys is in a future couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks from now, let's do a stream talking about the beard growth oil and the science behind it. But what I'd love to pitch to you guys watching right now, and then we'll get some information out on socials, is if you have had experience using it for several months, please send in to either the email or to Instagram for Dr. Nix and share some before and after pictures. Or even if you're like, Dan, sorry, man, I didn't take any before pictures, show some after ones and maybe diagram for us where you see new growth. And that could like absolutely make a difference in somebody else giving it a try, and who knows how many people have insecure spots on their beard and they don't rock a certain style. They keep shaving it. They just don't feel confident. Maybe that is going to be the thing that gets them to try and it changes that trajectory of their beard journey. I think that'd be really cool. So I know we have Dan B in the chat who's had success. I know Mark has had success.
Great success with that.
Donald Long has had success, I believe. So if you guys could send in any before afters, send in any updates, and feel free to be fair and uncensored. If you are like, I haven't seen anything yet, that's fine. Please share. We don't want to have any biased information here. We want to give consumers the best whole picture, especially since day one, Nick and Jill have said, hey, this is not magic. This is not a miracle. It's not guaranteed. So we want to be able to share that. And that would make for a really good stream for us to share the evidence behind it, but also like what we've learned over the last 6 to 9 months of this product dropping and then information coming in. I think that could be a really good stream. And the best way possible to go about it is long form transparency, which is what this stream's all about here.
Dude, I think that's it, man. I love that. I'd love to turn that into something on Instagram too. Maybe put something, maybe do something cool where do something with before and afters,
Yep, exactly. So if you guys have it, I'm going to write a note down right now to make sure we follow through on this. If you have any updates, please send them to Dr. Nix through the email, customer service at drnix.com, or send them through Instagram. Either way is going to work very, very well. Growth stem oil. Does it work?
Love it. I love it. I've been using it on my eyebrows too. Jill uses it on her eyebrows. I've been using it on mine. I don't have these lusciously thick eyebrows like Dan does. And my dad, by the time he was older, he was like, you had like little commas. You had like one here, and like one there, But so whenever I look in camera, it's not that bad in person for some reason, but in camera, And at certain lighting, I for some reason it gets me. I'm like, oh, I gotta thicken these things up, man.
Oh
So I've
yeah.
been doing it for a couple months now.
There's a bunch of ladies. And look at right here. Channing says, I can do it before and after for the ladies.
Do
That
it.
would be
Please do. That'd be
so
awesome.
cool. So
That'd be
cool, Channing. You're
super
the
cool.
best. And even Dan B right there says, growth stimulator so helped me with my beard rebound over the past 6 months. Dan C can vouch for that. Absolutely, man. I didn't even see that comment before I mentioned you. And he says, Dan, I just posted a 1 year before and current pic today. Dan, please send that to the Dr. Nick's Instagram page, and they'll make sure that that gets all taken care of. And Mark is going to search for some older pictures. And look at Donald right here. I had great success on my cheeks and mustache, and it stayed after 8 months of use, which is one of the most common questions that I get about these products.
Yup.
Is it like minoxidil and I stop, it's going to fall out? And I have to explain to them, like, no, you woke up dormant hair follicles. These are rooted.
Yeah.
They are permanent hairs now going through that life cycle. And
Oh,
that right there shows it with Donald. Not just that it worked, but it stayed for 8 months. Yes.
I mean, that's it. Yeah. It's not that it's not that spray hair.
Right, exactly. It's not an enhancement. It's not something that's fallen out. And yeah, Jill says she uses it on her widow's peak and lightly on her brows.
Nice. Oh, yep. There you go. Second order. See what happens. Yep.
Yeah. And Darian says he's never used Grow Serum, but he's tempted because it's Dr. Nick's, which speaks volumes for your guys' reputation.
Dude, that's huge. Yeah. Thanks for that, man.
Yep. Hey, what's up, Scott? Yes.
Yes.
Different time today, my man.
Yep. That's it. If you were there at 1 o'clock today, that was a lonely 8 hours.
They probably had a couple guys say, hey, how you doing, Scott? Hey, I'm doing good, man. What's for lunch?
See you later. Yeah. We'll come back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So officially, guys and girls out there, if you could get those pictures and updates sent over, and then we'll get some posts up on Instagram as well, looking for that, because again, that could be very helpful for future guys or ladies that are looking for hair growth, and very helpful for a company like Dr. Nick's.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's
Beautiful.
the best thing people who don't know us can hear is from other people they don't know, right? That aren't us. So that kind of content just really helps, because a lot of people get to us, and they haven't interacted with us at all yet, right?
Right.
And they don't know if we're any different than another brand out there. If we are we just different because of scents? I think a lot of people shop for beard products just based on scent,
Fact.
until they realize that there is something maybe different that they need to explore and look for it that way. So whenever they see this kind of stuff from people who aren't us, that's huge. You can't pay for that kind of marketing. That's for sure.
Yeah, and look, I mean, again, right here, how many have we had? 4 or 5 already? Jeffrey says, I'm on my last of my second bottle of growth stimulator, and it's helped my neckline and my mustache so much.
It's actually a really common one I hear people using it for is their neckline.
Yeah.
Neckline, cheeks, mustache, and in some cases, I think really in soul patch. So it's like soul patch
for sure.
Cheeks, neckline that people really seem to be using it the most for.
And if you think about the impact of being able to lower someone's neckline when they wouldn't be able to before, and the amount of density and backing that gives you, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's all this stuff down here is what gets rid of the transparency that you don't want, for sure. I mean, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, I used to trim it up way too high.
Yeah.
And, I didn't want it to go out, and little did I, as it grows, it goes down. No one has a, 18-inch beard, right? That's like straight out.
Right.
Fall down eventually, but that under quilt's important.
Yep. Yeah. You're not winning the battle against gravity. Those things are going to go. And so, yep.
Nope.
And even Ralph coming in saying one of his favorite products. Heck yes.
Oh, right
and,
on.
yeah, and we just had a bunch of people come in. So thank you guys for coming in, hanging out. We haven't even invited you guys to do all the YouTube stuff. If you don't mind, check to see if you've hit that thumbs up. If you haven't, consider it. And then if you want to share this out with some friends, we take pride in this show being a good listen after the fact. Like, it's great to be here in the moment. We love to hear from you guys, but we don't think that we alienate people that want to just listen. So if you want to share it out, it's valuable well after that fact. And we're just kind of talking about some comments and feedback here. Like William says, Nick, I have to say, I was telling Dan in an email, I use your products every morning. It's my daily usage, number 7 wash and oil each morning. Thank you.
Dude, right on. You're welcome. And thank you for that, man. I mean, that's basically my go-to routine too. Number 7, everything. I'm just, lime zest, citrus fruit, pine, and the, face wash, beard conditioner, body wash, beard oil. I mean, I'm hooked. I do, vary. Today I have the cold brew coffee in for oil, but I still had, it was number 7, everything in the shower.
That's
Except for the face
amazing.
wash. It was the number 9,
Lavender.
The lavender sandalwood combo in the shower. I just really, really like it. And so I don't know, I switched to that for the face wash for a little bit.
Yeah, and Donald's spot on right here. And if you guys have any comments about Dr. Nix, or if you have any feedback or questions for them, this is a great stream. We recently had Dr. Nix on Commands Corner, and Dr. Nick's review was on Friday, so we may have some new people in here. So please, if you got any comments or questions, this is the perfect time. We're going to talk about some stories and stuff, but a lot of this is just tangents and letting you guys drive the stream. It's what we do best. And Donald brings up another amazing point. It's important to consistently apply daily and be patient. It's not going to work periodically within 30 days.
Yep. Dude, that's huge. And I think another just footnote to that, if people are like, growth stimulator? Oh, this guy likes it. If you're listening about growth stimulator right now, another important note is that, again, your hair follicles are in your skin, right? So you want to focus this stuff on your skin. You still want to do whatever else you're doing for nighttime, like a butter or an oil or anything else, but definitely get this stuff into the skin, rub it in until you can't really see it anymore. Get it all the way in there as much as you can. You're not going to hurt anything to put it all the way through your beard, obviously. It's great. It's good stuff. It's a heavier body oil, but definitely focus on the skin. That's what it's there for.
Yep. And do you want to touch on the color real quick? Because we probably do have some people that are tuning in, hearing about this for the first time, where the color comes from and what kind of like short-term, long-term, any impact there?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you are new to the growth stimulator, you're thinking about trying it and you look at it, you're like, wow, this stuff is really orange. The Beauty oil inside of our growth stimulator has a naturally orange tint, and it comes from the beta carotene. Just the same reason carrots are orange is the same reason that oil is orange. That is awesome stuff, though. Like when it sits on your skin and it oxidizes, it turns to vitamin A. It's really good from just a skin nourishing perspective. Great for your hair follicles, and it's also really good at helping to get that peppermint and rosemary essential oil into your skin and into the hair follicles. So it's good stuff. So will it stain? If you have white hair at the bottom of your hair, you're going to see some tint from the orange in that. It washes right out the very next day. Another reason to really rub it into your skin. Do you have white pillowcases? And do I notice any transfer on mine? No, I have light gray pillowcases. Never see it at all. Some people have said, "Ooh, I didn't rub it in enough. It was on my cheeks. It definitely got some on my pillowcase. Wife wasn't happy." Good news, came out of the pillowcases. Washes out, just like it washes out of your hair the next day. So again, it's a good thing that it's that color, and it's a great indicator if you have it rubbed in all the way or not. Right?
Yeah.
You still see that orange sheen on your skin. You keep giving it some fingertips. Work it in there.
Yep. And Donald said the orange color did not transfer to any clothes, pillows, or sheets. And Ralph, who has a platinum, silver, white, gray beard, said makes this beard light orange for a bit, but he already said it's one of his favorite products. So it's nothing that's been an issue for him. So
no, it's not like a permanent
helpful.
staining at all. Nope. And I've had like maybe 1 out of 100 with any kind of a transfer issue. And I have to chalk it up to probably just not rubbing it in all the way, maybe using too much.
Exactly. I mean, that kind of goes back to Donald's comment where you got to be consistent, you got to be patient. There is user error. It's not something a company can easily say, but it is true. I mean, if you're like, oh shoot, I applied it on Tuesday and then Saturday and I'm just not getting any results, it's got to be consistent, like a multivitamin. You got to do it every day.
That's it.
Yep. And Mark says it fades quickly. So boom, love that. And Shane said, recently got my first Dr. Nix oil and butter. Love them. Which oil will make my mustache grow the right direction? Yeah.
Heat.
Right.
Heat will make your mustache grow the right direction. Length and heat, my friend.
So true.
Mustaches are just one of those things. They're an unruly participant in the beard game here. you know, and it's like, you know, our beards are nice and cooperative. They do what you want usually. Everything's great. And your mustache is like, nah, I'm front and center. I'm a diva. You're going to give me what I want, or I'm going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I'm going to be real moody from time to time.
Real moody. Yep.
And you've touched on this briefly before, if I remember correctly, but Jeffrey wants to know, would your body wash work as a stripping wash once a week?
So I'll answer that question two ways, and Jill's going to throw a slipper at me. And it's so we are coming out with a stripping wash for this very reason. And our body wash is around an 8 on the pH scale, 8.4. So it's definitely more stripping than the 4.6-ish that our beard wash is. As you notice, very, very similar ingredients, similar profile. It will definitely not do anything to hurt your beard. What I will say is it's probably a little more stripping than even our stripping beard wash would be. So I don't necessarily think that I'd say, hey, on a regular basis, use our body wash in your beard. Maybe if you have really oily skin and a really oily beard, maybe that's something that would work for you. I think for the masses, it might be a little too drying, a little too abrasive, a little too stripping for the face. But that being said, until we come out with a stripping wash, I do use our body wash for a stripping wash. So what I'm careful of is I do tend to keep it from like here down, right? I try not to get it into my face too much, just like you would with a stripping wash, right? You kind of avoid the skin, right? Unless you're trying to get like maybe you got like a buildup of butter down there, or balm or something like that.
For sure.
Then you got no choice. You got to get it in.
Have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
In which case, I would do it before the face wash, and I would do it before conditioner. So if you use that, then condition afterwards really good while that's sitting. Hit your face with the face wash, let it run down through your beard. That'll get some oils back in there, and then just moisturize the hell out of it afterwards.
Yep, absolutely. And Miles says, Dan, your recent video on peppermint rosemary oil, loved it. Thank you. I'm just like stupidly passionate about that oil and scent and product line. I genuinely would have never believed that something would pass 7 and IPA for me, but it just has. It just straight up has. It's the balance of the earthiness with the mintiness, where it's not like that artificial mint. It's not
that natural mint is something special.
It's mountainous. It's earth. It's just, and rosemary is. I don't know if there's a better partner in crime than rosemary with that peppermint. It like chills it out a little bit, but gives it still that same kind of family. It's an I had to, like, it's an absurdly amazing scent, and to go with these amazing products, like genuinely. And you guys know I don't talk like that unless it's real.
Dude, that's huge. I didn't mean to laugh halfway through, but I'm sitting there reading Hiromi's comment here about how it's just like the shake weight. You got to use it every day in order to see results. So I'm a South Park fan, so like I giggle like a 5th grader when someone talks about shake weights. So, you know, sorry, he got the toilet humor side of me here, and I got distracted.
No, I love it. And Jeffrey says, I love peppermint rosemary. Never realized how much I love peppermint.
So here's the funny story about that. I don't like minty stuff in general. Like I don't like minty gum. I don't like Listerine. Like I don't like overly minty things. But oddly enough, I do like natural mint quite a bit. Like the yerba mate teas that are like the mint ones. Like those things are awesome. I love those. And it's mint. So it's like it's a certain specific type of mint I think I like. And it's always the natural kind of like tea steeped with mint leaves. Like I like that. I just don't like fake mint flavoring.
Yeah. I don't drink any hot beverages at all. I don't drink coffee.
It was cold tea.
Ooh, okay.
It comes in a can.
Okay. I like that. That's
in the refrigerator section.
That's a good trump card right there. I like that. But what I was gonna say is 2 or 3 times in the last week, I have drank hot tea, peppermint tea, to like soothe my stomach. Apparently peppermint tea is really good for calming stomachs. And so
that it is.
And so I've had some tea and I didn't hate it. I'll be honest. It was okay. I mean, I'm not craving it, but it was, if I had to drink it again, I would. I had no issues there.
Internal Ted Lasso didn't come out too hard, and he's like, nope, still just like dirty water.
Yeah. I love that. And then here's actually a good topic here. Love Dr. Nick's oil, butter, and wash, but pricey to get to Canada due to UPS custom fees. Completely understand. Um, know that with Dr. Nick's, any shipping fees are just straight up what the cost is. There's not a penny in it for them. Nick, since you guys have made the shipping changes and have been working with carriers and stuff, what have you learned anything with international shipping? Is there anything that you want to share on this? Because 3D, you're not alone in that thought. And Nick is somebody that when he makes a change, he's diving all the way in, and he doesn't just stop once the change happens. He's going to observe. He's going to bring in information. So what have you learned or noticed about international shipping, if anything comes to mind?
So in the areas that we still have that we re-enabled international shipping for, it's
Yep.
worked better for people because they get to preview, and I think coming really soon, if it's not already doing it, it gives them the option to not only preview their duties and fees, but also prepay them,
Oh, nice.
which is cool. So at least they know what to expect, right? It's not like you all of a sudden get this random email from the Canada Post that says, you owe us $63, and you're
Oh,
like, whoa,
yep.
So another one that's kind of cool is DHL is a little better at navigating those fees, I think. And we just got our rate sheet and area zone map back for our new DHL account. So that too is going to be linked in there really, really soon. So you'll be able to see the rates for DHL and select it as an option if you're international. And also with them, you'll be able to prepay and see your fees. I have noticed a lot less erroneous shipments. So we're still doing Australia. We have re-enabled with Aussie Post. There's like a specific service that actually contracts to USPS to do Australian deliveries now.
Okay.
So it prints Aussie Post or whatever it is labels, but you drop them off at USPS, which is kind of cool. They all go to New York, and then they all go all over together, I think once a week from there. So it's a more cost-effective way to get stuff to Australia, which is cool. Whole lot less issues there. And the broker fees specifically, those seem to go away, at least to some extent, if not all the way, with DHL, because they have negotiated rates and it's built into their shipping cost.
Okay, that's good. And yeah, Jacked Up Leatherworks, who you work with and as a small business owner, says international shipping is a business hurdle that is really a pain in the pocket.
Dude, it's brutal. I mean, what's crazy about it, the hardest part, even when people are paying for their own shipping, some of the addresses we were getting for a while there when we had the whole world opened up with USPS that was responsible for getting them there, is, someone would try to make it worth it, obviously, and order $100-something worth of stuff, and they would pay for shipping. At the time, it was flat rate, so they paid $15. We might have paid 35, 40.
Right.
And then something happens and it gets lost or it doesn't get delivered right, and so then we wanted these people to be able to try our stuff. We wanted to be able to make it right. So of course we reshipped it. So then we're eating the product and then we're eating the 45 whatever dollar shipping again. So those were negative sales for us. So they hurt pretty bad. And so now I think with letting people pay the proposed rate is definitely going to help. And then I think limiting to the areas that we know our carriers are proficient at successfully delivering packages, I think is another, right? And we're just kind of going to limit the expansion based on the capabilities of the carriers, not so much our willingness to do it, right?
Yep. I love that. Good feedback, good learning process. And I get it all. And Tony says, nothing more ironic than applying Dr. Nick's butter while listening to the Dr. Nick's live stream. Tony, I'll tweak you slightly. I'm going to say nothing more iconic than applying Dr. Nick's butter while listening to Dr. Nick's live stream. I like that.
There you go. It's like beard inception.
Yeah, right. And if you look too closely, it starts to duplicate itself, and
or it starts to flash, and you're like, wait a minute, it is a simulation.
Yep. Why am I speaking in colors now? Yeah, I can't even.
Why do I all of a sudden know what purple smells like?
But we do. That's so crazy when you start thinking that. Oh my gosh, I have a lot. So the topic today is road trip stories, and I do some of my most wildest thinking on road trips, and I just ask myself, questions that I've never wondered before. And that's one of my road trip stories. Like I asked myself the other day, if because I was going into a gas station, a lady was leading her, I believe, husband out. Um, he was blind and deaf, blind and deaf. I heard her talking to someone about it, and she said he was born like that. My thought is, what are his thoughts like? And I genuinely don't know that answer. And this is all with respect, but my mind got to racing and got stuck on that. He's never heard language before.
Yeah, like what's
And,
your inner dialogue sound like, right?
right,
Like
right.
when I'm sitting there going through something in my head, my internal narrative is kind of like my cadence, my voice, you know?
Right.
So if you didn't have at least an idea of what your voice sounded like in your own head, you know, because you couldn't hear, right?
And you never learned language.
So what does that inner dialogue sound like? What do dreams look like? Like what you know what I mean? Like it's like what? Yeah, that's deep.
My brain could not handle it, and it got stuck there. I tried to listen to podcasts. I tried to get it like deeper out of my head. And Jason says, "Now you're getting deep." I know, and I'm being so genuine on that. You've never learned language, audio or visually. What are your thoughts like?
Yeah. Like what do they sound like and what do they look like?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I get to doing on this one, and I would like to share a couple observations. Am I still with you, Nick?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I would like to share a couple of observations from my road trip of driving from the top of the map down to the bottom of the map. First one, and I would like your feedback on this. Why does traffic always get backed up on the other side of the highway when there's an accident? And I know the answer is because people stop and look at the accident and they watch it. We all know that's going to cause a problem. Why is it like human nature, like flies to a light, that we can't help it? And I'm saying as a mess, like I don't do it, and that's being genuine because I hate traffic with a passion. But like you get stuck in this 30-minute traffic delay just to get up there and realize the accident's on the other side. What in the world?
I think there's, you know what's funny? I think it's a couple of things. If you live up in the Northeast, there's a couple of reasons why you do that. So, and it's a couple of things that I've noticed as a transplant to New England that I think are unique to New England. One, the first most important one is it is the only place in the world for the reason that traffic happens is actually so people can slow down enough to roll down their window and yell at the people across the street who got in the accident for being an idiot and causing them to get in traffic. Like nice job. Look at, you know what I mean? I'm late, you know, so first of all, New England is special because we will slow down and yell at you for getting in a car crash because you made us late.
Dang.
So second of all, I think it's almost not even human nature to be like so much, oh man, what happened? Let me see what's over there. Somewhere deep down, I do feel like there's like a time accounting process in people's heads somewhere that's like, this better be good. Like if I sat in this traffic for this long because of an accident, like what's going on over there? Like if that thing's brutal, I'm not going to feel so bad. But if it's like someone who just bent someone's license plate, I'm going to be pissed. And so, you know, I mean, I feel like there's a little piece of that in everybody too.
I think you're hitting it on the head. It's so frustrating because if we all just drove normal, we wouldn't have that traffic. Like that wouldn't exist on this side. We'd be able to go right
like
by.
An iron curtain, like part of like the highway safety cleanup crews equipment needs to be a big inflatable easy up. So when they show up on scene, they just boom, and the whole thing gets put inside of a big giant tent. No one can see anything. Nothing to see here.
It takes it out of the equation. I love that.
Just don't let people see it. One, you get your privacy if you're in a car accident. You know, you're a little disheveled. Maybe you don't want people rubbernecking staring at you. Now you get to exchange your insurance information of the privacy of your own accident tent.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're striking a chord with all the East Coasters. That's so true, Nick. So true, Nick.
Yeah. No, I noticed that like month 2 being up here. Like if you run out of gas in the tunnel in Boston and you cause traffic in the tunnel because you ran out of gas, like be prepared. Keep your windows up, not just because of the exhaust fumes, because of the terrible things that will be hurled your direction as you are sitting there. And everyone realizes that you're not hurt, that you're literally just an inconvenience because of your own lack of planning. Like you're going to hear everything in the book while you're sitting there waiting for gas.
Oh man, and that's so interesting because genuinely the Midwest is different.
Oh
Where
yeah.
if that happened, you would have 5 cars of dads that would stop and be like, "Hey, do you need help with your tire? I got some gas in the back. You want me to help you out?" Like that's what they
Always
do in the
keep a
Midwest.
spare.
Yeah, right. And they'll chat it up with them while they're there, and it's I've also found on the road trip stories that, and I got a couple comments that I love here, but the road trip is that there's on vacation distinctly 2 types of people. There's the type that will seek out any excuse to tell you where they're from and ask you where you're from. And then there's the other half that doesn't want to even glance at the human race and just wants to enjoy their vacation. And there's nobody in between. It's one side or the other. And it's so interesting to figure out who you're next to at a restaurant or the pool or a line because they do little feelers to see if you're the same type as them or not.
Oh yeah, they're like, huh, yeah, not this way back home.
Yep.
Or, so like they throw little things. Oh yeah, where are you from? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. And it's like, and then all of a sudden there it goes. And it's like, you're right. You're either like that's like someone like you're either someone who like you like oysters or you don't. And if you go somewhere people order them, you're not just gonna all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, I didn't like them before. Maybe I'll try them again.
Yeah.
It's like you either are one of those people or you aren't. There's
Yep.
no well, I could go either way, people.
Yep. I mean, it is hilarious. And so I've observed it. I can be on the side of meeting people. I like to learn where people are from and what they do for a living. I find that very interesting in the right situations. That's a nightmare for Sam. And so I do this like balancing act of not this trip. I've been way more chill. I don't know if I've initiated a single conversation. So I've been a little bit more low key on this trip.
Yeah, because otherwise you get someone that like clings onto it, and then you
Yep.
got Sam being like, "Oh man, I thought we'd never lose those people," and you're like, "Me too." And then she's like, "What do you mean, me too? You're the one that like started a conversation with him, brought him over to our table."
You have no experience in that, Nick, at all. I can tell.
Oh, of course not.
No.
No,
Yeah, we're not.
that was purely a figurative comment
Yeah.
that came from just maybe me imagining what that situation might be like if I
Yeah.
did those things.
Yeah,
which
we're
I
not.
don't.
Yeah, we're not similar at all. So no way. And here's a super interesting thought by Leo. I've never heard this, but I get exactly what he's saying. He said there's also a ghost effect. The delay persists for a time after the cause is removed.
Well, there is because everyone that was stopping
Yeah.
is now still stopping in the people that have stopped and they're re-moving. So there is like a residual effect. It's almost like an accident hangover. Like it's gonna linger a little bit.
Yeah, no, exactly. I've never heard that phrase, but I love that, Leo. That's accurate. Interesting.
MIT did some crazy study about it. They put a bunch of cars in, pick your name for a circular street, and don't fault me for using the one that's here, which is a rotary. Maybe if you're down south, it's a roundabout. I don't know, wherever it's a roundabout, a rotary, a whirligig, whatever you want to call it. They're all there. So they took a bunch of cars and they put them in one of these, and they had them all go around, and then they'd radio to one of them randomly and tell them to slow down to a complete stop and then start moving again. And they would see how long it would take traffic to then start circling again at normal speeds instead of just backing up. And they found that if 2 people stopped in the size of the one they were using, it actually never recovered until all of the vehicles left and came back.
It's like they had to have a fresh new memory to continue.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it became such a long stop that by the time it was all stopped around to the front, that became stopped again. So eventually it turned into a bunch of stop and go circle like this, just from 2 people slowing down, stopping, and then moving again.
That's crazy. Crazy. And Jason, I had this literal situation where this happened here, where I was at the pool and the guy was super eager to talk to me. I mean, super eager. And he was like, where are you from? I said, Michigan. He goes, oh, what part? And I'm assuming when they say it like that, I'm assuming they're from Michigan. or they know Michigan well. And I was like, oh, I'm from Grand Blanc. And he was like, can you show me where? I said, Flint area. Literally was like, and like shifted his
He
like
like checked to
demeanor.
make sure he still had his wallet and then turned around and walked away.
He thought like, oh man, I'm going to talk to this cool guy from nice place in Michigan. And then he was just absolutely mortified when I said that.
It's like,
Mortified.
never mind.
Yeah, just straight up dropped it. So that
I know
is
we're in the airport, but I think he's going to find a way to squat in my house, and I don't want it.
exactly. Like exactly. And Donald said he drives from New Jersey to Orlando all the time. Interesting that VA and Florida drivers like to dig for gold for all to see. Florida could not be any more accurate. Donald, I was in the lobby today, and there was they have this massive sports like convention going on here with like hundreds of teams, and there was a coach sitting with his players. The dude was digging away in front of all of his players as I'm walking by, and it's in like broad daylight. And I'm like, is nobody seeing this? And I see it everywhere in Florida. It's been driving me crazy. I cannot believe you said that because it's been on my mind, dude.
I actually didn't know what you meant by that until all of a sudden you put it in context. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yes. Yes. Picking the nose. And the drivers here do not give two hecks if people see or not. That's so
I wonder
funny.
if people think that you can't see in their car. Like if they think you, I wonder if it actually is like, I don't care, or if there's like a level of tint that's legal down there where they feel like maybe you won't see them.
Right. There's something to that. I had a buddy post about that on Facebook today. That's crazy, Donald. Crazy. And
Interesting.
yeah, and the one more thing I will add to like the observations on the road trip. The single variable of rain in the south, just my observation, which
Oh,
driving from Michigan to Florida on a
forget it.
regular basis. In the north, no, we go faster. There's
Go
no issues.
faster. Ha, they can't radar me outside their car in the rain. I'm going to book it.
Exactly. In Georgia, I've never seen people tap their brakes
Hazard
more
lights.
for literally pulling off because of rain. It was, I talked about it last night, but it's mind blowing to me. You guys, it's rain. Like it's not an ice storm. It's not a snowstorm. It's rain. And so I can't handle it. I cannot handle the driving in the rain.
It's
I
the
go
hazard
crazy.
lights that get me. Like all of a sudden on the freeway, you're doing 70 and you roll up on someone doing 45 miles an hour with their hazard lights on
It makes no
in
sense.
the left lane, and you're like, you know,
Right.
you're kind of asking for it. Like you got to
Right.
come.
Yeah, it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then another random one. We have never driven through Georgia, which is massive because we go through Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee. That is not even as long as Georgia and Florida for us.
No.
Like Georgia and Florida are massive north to south. We've never gotten through Georgia without seeing some kind of catastrophic car crash, not like the actual moment of it, but the aftermath. We had one a couple of years ago that was on fire as we're going by it. You can feel the heat. We're just hoping it's not going to explode. And we saw another just unbelievable, like catastrophic one. We saw a semi over on the side of the road, twisted in half and all flip dipped and diving. And there's something about Georgia and just horrific accidents. I don't know what it is, but I can't shake it. It's every time we go through.
I mean, it's a busy ass freeway system. I mean,
True.
Georgia, Atlanta was actually rated #1 worst traffic in the United States of any other major city a couple years back.
Wow.
It's just a lot of people on the road, you know. It's like you can't really go down the eastern seaboard without cutting across it, you know. So it's just so many semis, so many people.
Yeah. And you have that interesting perspective of being all over the country that you've lived. Have you noticed, even on road trips or even living there, have you noticed regional driving tendencies? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I mean, people in New England drive a different way than everyone else in the entire country drives. Florida is probably in that same boat, actually, and it's because I think it's such a melting pot. Like, such a small percentage of the people that are on the freeway there with you are from there, even if they have foreign plates, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting like this weird mix of everybody trying to get along, and that doesn't work. very well. And then,
Right.
of course, the average age range is, been dead for 5 years, as far as people that are on the road goes.
True.
And so, that adds an interesting element. But no, I mean, like people in Hawaii, different breed than California. I mean, California is very different than the rest of the West Coast,
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, there's definitely regional driving. Like there's nowhere else in the country that you can bang a left and actually get away with it and not have someone like follow you into the parking lot of a Walmart and be like, "Why'd you cut me off?" Like if there's a 4-lane road and there's a red light, but there's no left green arrow. As soon as that light turns green, you can haul ass and turn left in front of all the other people going straight, and they will typically wait for you. They're like, "Nice move. I do that."
Yeah.
And it's like they kind of like, "Nice work," and then
That's daily. Yeah, that's daily. If I got a big enough gap, I'm going. And it's like it's such an award and such an honor if you go quick enough where you don't interfere with their path. Like that's the greatest feeling.
Another weird thing in New England that they do, and this is less obvious, is that if you're on a road, 2-lane road, and you're slowing down, you're going to take a left on that 2-lane road. There's no light. It's kind of like a residential or rural, right? And there is someone else at that intersection that you're about to turn left. All right. You're about to turn left in front of them to go left onto the street, and they're sitting there. If you don't stop short and let that person turn left onto the street to go in front of you before you turn left onto that road, you might as well have spit in their face. Like that is a common courtesy up here. Like you do it when you can do it. And if you don't, like you're going to regret it. And if someone lets you do that and you don't give them like the wave, I mean, that's just as bad as not letting someone do it. Like half the time, I'm like, no, go. You have the right of way. Like I want to obey what I'm supposed to do here because that's kind of what my plan was. So you turn, and they're so confused. They're like, but I'm letting you go. Like,
right.
You should go.
Yeah, I totally get it. I get what Michael's saying. He says, I hate when people try to be kind and wave others on when it's their right of way.
I know, me too. Just go. Just go.
And that can get you some hairy situations, like when you stop traffic and someone's trying to turn left and you're the closer one, but it's a 2-lane road on your side and you wave them on, but you don't know if that next lane is going to stop and they can't fully see it. Now you're putting yourself in a bad situation.
That person could say you caused that accident. They're like,
I know.
You told me to go.
Yeah. That's what I was going to use the word liable. So
and I didn't tell you to go. I said you could go. From my perspective, I'm not going to run into you.
Right.
I'm not
so
speaking
true.
for those other people that may or may not see you.
So true. And Leo says, I love that about dining cars and observation cars on trains. Stewards will fill 4-seat tables randomly, and the conversation is incredible. I had no idea that's a thing. He said, only once I met a woman who demanded a different table. Interesting.
You'll have that. There's like the Acela that goes from like my area here in Boston down to Manhattan, and it's like the high-speed train. And you can either like reserve a first-class seat and pick like if you have a table and how many other people are there with you, or you can book the whole thing. Business class, you kind of go wherever, and there are some with tables, and then but otherwise it is the luck of the draw. Like you book a ticket and there could be a 4-seat table, like 2 seats facing backwards, 2 seats facing forwards, table in the middle, and you have to navigate your laptop space and the room for your mimosas with those other people on the train that you don't know. It's it can be good. It can also go terribly wrong.
Interesting. I have never traveled on a train for transit. I've only done it for like leisure, and that's it. So I've never done an actual like real train.
I didn't until like I realized it took me longer to take a 45-minute flight from Logan to JFK and get to the city than it did driving to the train station and taking the train that took 3.5 hours, because just the airport process. Like you can bring all your stuff, you can be on the phone when you want, you can be sitting there doing your thing, getting work done, and next thing you know, you hop out and walk a few blocks to where you're going in the city.
Yeah. And Donald can back up your East Coast stories. He says, I drive through the Lincoln Tunnel often. You get rubbed, bumped, your mirror ripped off. You don't stop. You just take a picture of your license plate and move on, and the police will yell at you if you stop.
Oh, they will tell you to get your ass out of that tunnel. They're like, "Are you dead? Is your vehicle disabled? Then move." Like, and they'll literally like bump the back of your car and tell you to move through their loudspeaker.
Yeah. And here's Leo. I didn't know people knew about Michigan lefts, but he says, let's hear it for the Michigan left, where you turn right to a U-turn lane and end up going left. So I don't know how many states it is, but in Michigan, we're not allowed to do U-turns. So if you're at an intersection and you're like, I need to go back in my opposite direction, you can't just whip around. You have to end up turning if you're going left, you have to end up turning right, do a U-turn on a one-way street to come back again to go back left. We're not allowed to do U-turns.
So you look at what they caused there, right? I mean, that's definitely fits into my favorite saying of reaching around your ass to itch your elbow, and they are literally inducing that behavior. I mean, that's an intentional move right there.
Yeah, yep. And Michigan idiot turn. Yeah, it's
this is good. This runs deep.
Oh yeah, this is what we live in, and we go to other states and we see normal U-turns, and it's like mind blowing. I'm like, what are you doing? You're gonna get caught. Like it's.
Here's the biggest difference that I've noticed. Like, so I lived up here for a few years. I had to go down to, I think, back to Tampa for some work, which I had driven around Tampa for years when I lived there, right? Like 6 years, 7 years. I was used to it. No GPS, knew where I was going. And I found myself getting so agitated driving. I'm like, why am I so annoyed right now? This is killing me. And so I left a restaurant I was meeting someone at, and there's no one coming either way. I pull up to a red light, and that red light just stays red. And I'm sitting there. It's 10:30 at night. There's no one coming. I'm like, where's the sensor? Why haven't I gone yet? I sat there for another 4 minutes. And then finally the timer went off because it was nighttime timers, and it let me go, and then I kept going. I ran that red light every night that I stayed there for the rest of my stay in Tampa, because I like literally couldn't not boil my blood sitting there waiting for a timer. I was and like up here in the Northeast, they know how impatient we are, and they program it into us because every light has a sensor. Like if it's nighttime and you pull up to a red light somewhere, that thing is turning yellow the other direction, red, and you got a green within like 5 seconds. Every light has a sensor. Like if they didn't do that up here, no one would ever stop. Like there'd be not a chance. They'd be like, nope, it's after 10. Like I'm going. Like there's no way.
That's wild. And
but yeah, I got more frustrated driving down south than I am driving up north because of that.
I'm not a patient driver either. We're the same there. And
reversing on the shoulder.
That's next level.
Oh yeah, that's an I-4 move right there, or 75 for sure. That's like an I-75/I-4, or at that intersection where you're just glazed over driving for so long on 75. You've passed the Risque Cafe, Gainesville in your rearview mirror for hours. There's no more funny billboards, and next thing you know, there are people like lined up, backing up 3/4 of a mile after I-4 because they're like, I'm not getting off of that Confederate flag exit right there in Plant City. Like I'm getting off right here.
Dude, Spot, you hit every single experience along that Florida trail. That's so funny.
Yeah, I've done it enough times.
Yeah, my last observation is the turns in Florida are the slowest turns ever, and I found the reason why. I mean, there's a lot of like
by slowest turns.
So when you're driving in Michigan, and I'm gonna make a right turn into an establishment, into a plaza, I need to get my butt off of there because
someone for you, get out of my way.
Yeah, someone's going to come clip me, and they're not going to wait patiently. In Florida, they get up to that turn, pretty much stop in the road, and then inch over into the parking lot. And I lose my mind, but I found the reason why. For whatever reason, I've really noticed this. I don't know if it has to do with the rain or what. In Michigan, when you make that turn, you're on level ground.
Oh,
in
not
Florida,
there, good bump.
Everything goes up. Why are all the parking lots angled up? So when you leave, everyone bottoms out, but if you don't take the right angle, but then turning is like, and I'm just losing my mind behind them.
That's because you got 22-inch wheels that are about 1.5 inches thick. Tires, and you can't go over a bump into a gas station that fast.
Yeah, flooding precautions. And I figured there was something with the rain and something with there, but it's so slow and it just defies my like DNA. I can't handle it.
In Ohio, they tailgate like crazy, and then they slow down hard for their turns. Well, that's it though, because that's like the get out of my way. But now I need to slow down, so you
Yep.
need to wait.
And you go extra to prove a point. You go extra to make sure they know that you know.
This is intentional. I'm slowing down on purpose.
All right, guys, but literally, believe it or not, we are at our hour mark. This is an hour-long show, and I loved your guys' feedback for Nick on some of the products, especially peppermint rosemary and the growth stem. I love that we came up with an idea for another stream dedicated to growth stem. And I love the like relatability of the travel stories. You guys put together a couple of dots that I didn't know how to make those lines. So literally, whether it's Nick or whether it's Leo or Jason or Donald, thank you guys for putting those pieces together. This was more therapeutic than I could have ever imagined. So
yeah, I feel like you needed this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like I just needed to know I wasn't crazy.
Hey, I can't believe it's been an hour. I thought we just got through like intros and catching up and then getting into talking about things. Next thing you know, we're an hour in.
And it's not even just words. Like it's so true. Like how the heck I literally looked down, was like, 10 o'clock. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. So man, thank you guys. We are normally live on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. We will be back Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern next week. We hope that you guys will join us, or if you're like, hey guys, sorry, I just can't make that time, please check out the replay. I promise you will enjoy it if you liked tonight's show, and leave us a comment after the fact. Dr. Nix does respond to every single comment. And I want to say thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for the kind words. It was Jack's, my son Jackson's birthday today. He turned 7. So thank you to everyone that said happy birthday to Jax on Instagram or messaged us. You guys are an amazing family and community, and literally don't know where I'd be without you. And I'll kick it over to Nick to get the final goodbyes tonight.
Oh man, no, this was great. I love our little off time streams. These are always good. See some new faces, see the old faces that make the adjustment with us. It's awesome. Hopefully anyone will watch this in replay because they can normally make it but couldn't tonight. We'll see you again next week. And people that were here tonight that aren't normally here, think about throwing us on like podcast style in your AirPods or something while you're working. You can listen to our useless ramblings while you're actually being a productive human. But no, this was awesome. Thanks for making it work on the road. Thanks for all that good stuff. And I guess with that, we will see you next week, and you guys can all get out of my house.